Hi, second grade. Sorry I couldn't be here today. You have a substitute teacher, but I wanted to go through with you how we're going to finish our chameleons. So you should get your chameleons passed out, and then a couple things I want you to look for in your art bag. You need to find your oil pastels. They look like this. And if you don't have those, I have a few extra bags that the substitute teacher can give you, but you need to return them when you're done. And then on my cart, she will put out some colored pencils. There's a cup of colored pencils because I want to talk to you about some things you can do to make watercoloring your picture easier. What do you mean by that, Mrs. Moore? Here's what I mean. I'm looking at my chameleon drawing and I'm noticing some things. Some things I'm noticing is this place along his back. Those are really tiny little bumps. I don't think I can get my paintbrush into those. Next thing I'm noticing is his eye. How many of you have tried to paint your eye with your paintbrush and your paintbrush is big like this, and when you go to paint the eye, it gets all runny and goes blah and turns into a blob? Raise your hand if that's you. That has happened to me before. So the eye is sometimes a problem. The other thing that happens to me sometimes, and I bet it's happened to you, is when you have a bush or a plant and then you're also trying to paint the sky. I'm painting blue right here and I'm painting green right here, and before I know it, the green runs off my leaf and into my sky. I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to talk to you about a few things I want you to do to your drawing before you paint that will help you with problems like this and this and this. First thing is colored pencils. Colored pencils are great when you have tiny places you don't think you can fit your paintbrush into. I'm going to choose a colored pencil, and really you can choose any color because we know that chameleons can change colors to just about any color. So grab a color, and the first little part I'm going to do is coloring his bumps. That way I don't have to worry about painting those. Next, I'm going to look at his eye. And one thing I noticed about chameleon eyes from the video we watched is they have these rings around them. They're kind of wrinkly skin, and they're rings around the eye. So I'm going to use my colored pencil to draw those rings that I saw. I might use more than one color because chameleons really are a lot of colors. They're not just one. And when you put more than one color together, it makes your drawing more interesting. So there's that. And in the middle of his eye, if you don't have black, that's okay. I didn't. I'm using a dark gray. You could use a dark green. Doesn't really matter. Something dark. And now I've got his eye done, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. Now let's see. The parts of my picture where I have leaves, here and here. This is where I'm going to get out my oil pastel, and I'm going to trace the leaves. Just like that. I'm just going right on top of my pencil line. And I bet that you know that an oil pastel is oily. And when water gets next to it, it can't go on top of it. We kind of learned that when we painted our fish. So when I paint the green on the leaf, let me do that right now. I'll show you what I mean. If I put green paint on my leaf, the oil pastel keeps it from going on my sky. And that's nice. Now I don't have to worry about the green getting on the blue of my sky. Now I can paint right next to my leaves, and the paint will not join up with the other paint because that oil pastel line pushes my paint away and keeps it out of my green leaf. I like that. So that's a really good trick to remember. You can use all your art supplies to help you out. So that's why I want you to outline in oil pastel. And I'm going to do that to all the leaves in my picture. Anywhere the sky might touch the leaves. Then I don't have to worry about that. All right, all done with that. Now, the branch. Same problem. And then the other reason I want to outline my branch, so I'm going to outline it so I can keep the sky where the sky belongs, and my branch where the branch is going to be, and my brown paint won't leak out into my sky paint. The other thing I want to make sure that I do, because we just been talking about texture, and I'm going to remind you texture is how something feels or how it looks like it feels. And what texture is a branch? If you said rough or scratchy or hard, you're right. And I can show that by making marks with my oil pastel that look like bark to make my branch look rough. I could do it with a colored pencil too if I wanted. And now when I paint my brown paint over those marks, because the oil pastel pushes my paint away, you can still see my marks and my branch has texture. And my brown paint isn't going out into my sky. So you now know some things to do to your picture before you paint your chameleon. These are just some things the artists do so it makes it easier when they paint. Now the only thing you have to worry about is painting your sky and painting your chameleon. Your chameleons can be any color, but I am going to remind you of something. Chameleons change color, so you might start out with green, and then maybe you're going to change to another color green, and then maybe your chameleon changes to blue. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but that is up to you. Just remember, these guys can change color. They're not going to be just one color. Oh, there was another part I was going to do too, and that was the flowers. Forgot. I've got flowers up here, and I don't want the blue of the sky to get on my nice yellow flowers. So I am coloring them in too. Again, you can use your crayons if you can't find your oil pastels, or you can use your oil pastels, or you could even use the colored pencil. I like oil pastels because I can blend. That means I put the orange right over that yellow, and I can kind of mush them together. I like how that looks. Now when I go next to that with my paint, see how I can't paint over it? And I'm not trying to paint over, but it stays yellow. It doesn't turn green, and I can paint my sky right next to it. All right, guys, you may not finish getting these done today. I want you to make sure you do the oil pastel, the colored pencil parts first, then get started painting. But if you don't get done, I don't want you to hurry. I would rather take more time next week to finish these and have them be amazing than get in a big hurry and mess up your wonderful drawings that you guys did a great job drawing. All right, I'll see you when I get back.